Welcome back. In this section, we will move our form to a separate component and we'll also add an onChange event for our input change, and we'll remove this hard-coded value and we'll replace it with the value typed by the user. So let's get started. I'll go and create a new file. I'll call it to-do form.js. I'll go into my app.js and will copy the content of app.js into to-do form.js. As usual, I'll remove the unused imports. We'll rename it to-do form and we'll remove anything that is returned right now. I'll go back to my to-do app.js. I'll copy this form from here. I'll just remove it from here and we'll paste it into this to-do form component. So now we have our form and to-do form component. We would like to use this to-do form component into our to-do app. So I'll just add a to-do form here and I would need to import it also. So let's just import it. Import to-do form from dot slash to-do form. Okay, so now we will add our logic in this separate component. So this is our form. It has a label description. Next, it has an input text. We'll just remove it. Remove the it has an input. It has an input which will contain the description. So right now it is a hard-coded value. I'll just remove it and we'll have a description variable. So let's just add a description here. We need to define this variable. So this will be changing and we want to show this change whenever this description is changed. We want to reflect that on our UI. So it's better to keep it in our state. So I'll just create a state using the useState hook. So const description, and the second argument would be a setter function which would be used to set the description is equals to useState. UseState is a hook. We'll need to import it and its initial value would be an empty string. So we'll need to import this use state hook from React. Okay, so now we have a description. It is in state, and we have used this description as a value of this input text. Next, we need to define an onChange event listener for whenever the value of this input is changed. We want to execute this onChange. So I'll just create a function here and I'll call it on input change. It will receive an event. So I'll use this here. On change event, I want to call on input change. And inside on input change, what I want to do is that we want to set the description. We are basically using this setter function. So we want to set this description to event dot target dot value. I'll just rename e to event. Okay, so we want to execute this on input change event. So whenever the input is changed, we will have this changed input in event.target.value. I want to set the description state of my component equal to event.target.value. So our description component will have the changed value and we want to display that value on the UI, so we are using it here. Next, we have another input which will be a submit button, and what we want to execute on submit, it will execute the submit of this form. So whenever a form is submitted, we need to define a submit event for the form also. So I'll just call it handle submit. So we need to create a function handle submit. It will also receive an event. And so what we want to do whenever the form is submitted. Right now we just want to test it. So we can do it by logging the event on the console. I'll just console log the description that we have. So just call it current description. And I also want to do event dot prevent default. So it will stop from doing whatever the default behavior of this event was. So if I click save and go back, you can see the description is cleared and I can type anything and I'm able to click submit. So we also want to see the console log. So I'll just go and inspect, and after I'll go into the console. This is the console on the bottom. I'll just clear the screen, and here you can see that whenever I type anything and when I submit, it is logged on the console current description, and this is the value that we have on in the description. So I also want to clear this for the next input. So whenever we console log, the next thing we want to do is that we want to set description to an empty string again. So now you will see that if I go and type anything, here it is showing me a warning that each child in a list should have unique key prop. So we need to add keys for the HTML elements. So just ignore this for a while. I'll just clear the console and go back. Here we can type anything. If I hit submit, you can see that it has submitted, and here is the description. And now this input area is cleared. So this is happening because we have set the description to an empty string, which is cleared this description which was being displayed in the input. In next video, we will connect this submit button to our state. So whenever we add any description, we will create a new to-do item and will add into the list. So that will be displayed on the screen here in this list. So thank you for watching.